Hello, welcome once again to the review show on the Al Media channel on YouTube. But first, like I always tell you, you have to subscribe to this channel for more info, insight on all the games that were played across the European top five leagues, especially in the Premier League, where over the weekend there was a crunch game at the Etihad, full of drama after 90 minutes, where Erling Haaland had to approach Mikel Arteta, head coach of Arsenal, just to tell him to be humble after that disappointing 2-2 draw. City feeling that they just let 2 points slip through their fingers. But for Arsenal, there's still the title charge on course for them. But also in Italy, there was a big game where the two rivals who share the same stadium, but it was at the Giuseppe Meazza, not the San Siro, because Inter Milan were playing at home, and they were shocked by AC Milan after they lost by 2-1. And there's more news in the Spanish La Liga because both giants, Real Madrid and then Barcelona, are still unbeaten. But it's Barcelona with a 100% record so far. So it's the review show here on the Al Media channel on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe. And then also let's hear from you in the comment section because we will be reading all your thoughts in the subsequent editions. So whatever you have to say, who do you think will be winning the league? Do you think Arsenal are in pole position to win the league after, forcing City to a 2-2 draw away at the Etihad? Gabriel says City will be welcomed back at the Emirates, and everyone just can't wait for what might happen in that one. But for Barcelona and then Real Madrid, who do you think has the best squad, and who do you think, or which of these two teams do you think will reign supreme at the end of the season? So that's why we have you hooked on here, and I've been joined in the studios by one of the best when it comes to insightful, educative, and incisive analysis in the person of Atiga Mauli Force to help us with the tactical breakdown of how some of these teams manage to get the win over the weekend. Welcome.
Thank you to that.
First of all, let me take your impression, from that game. We would come to the game, in perspective tactically and how that game went, how Arsenal managed to hold City, with just 10 men, quite resolute and resilient from the Gunners. But first of all, did you just side with what Haaland did, after the game? Was it as a result of frustration, or you just think, they feel that Arteta and the Gunners are beginning to crawl, away from the shadows of Pep and his charges?
Well, Jose, I think that they feel the pressure from us now. They have realized that for the past 2-3 seasons, it is only Arsenal that is going to break their mojo. It is only Arsenal that is going to break their genes of trying to dominate the English Premier League. And if you look at what really went on a day, if it were any other day, right? If it were any other season, Arsenal would have lost that much, about maybe three, 4 goals. But on the day, it just shows you that what Arsenal has grown. Arsenal has left, in terms of personality, in terms of courage, in terms of growth.
Yeah.
To the extent that even with the man down, they were not scared. You understand? I mean, they played their hearts out, and they've got some experience about them this season that over the past couple of seasons they've not been able to have.
Yeah.
But sometimes it frustrates if you really feel that you needed to win, but at the end of the day, even against 10 men, you will not be able to win. Then it boils down to the perception that, are you good enough? You understand? And on the day, Haaland did indicate that he was really frustrated.
No, but was it necessary for him to have approached Mikel Arteta and ask him to be humble? And I don't know, but in context, what do you think he was trying to tell Mikel Arteta?
Well, to me, I think that is disrespectful. It is. But I'm not going to hold it against him. You understand? Because you in the spirit of competitive football, you don't try to as much as possible, despise the opposition.
Yeah.
But this is Arsenal against Man City. The two teams are going to be rivalries this season, and these two teams have gone against each other over the past 2-3 seasons, right? So on the day, they really, into perspective, realize that over the past 5 matches that both teams have played at the Etihad, Arsenal had never gotten a win.
Yeah, but it's been cagey in all those games.
Very, very cagey, but most likely, City have always had a win when it comes to the Etihad.
Yeah.
But on the day, they found it very, very tough to bring the Arsenal team down. So it just tells you that Arsenal has grown, not because they were the better team on the day, because even with 11 men against 11, City were dominating.
Yeah.
Just that Arsenal with their first attack got a goal, with their second attack got a goal again. So it just tells you that they were efficient on the day. So yes, it is frustration, but at the end of the day, it is to be expected.
I think one of the strengths of Arsenal this season has to do with how they attack aerial balls and how deadly they've been from set pieces. But you look at Gabriel, who is always at the receiving end of these balls, scored in the North London derby. His goal won Arsenal all 3 points. And we saw him again with a thumping header. How is this new setup, with Gabriel, just banging in the goals to help the team, going to help them? Because we saw how hungry they were to win at the Etihad.
For the past 3 years that Arsenal brought in was the name Mikel Arteta. They brought in a set piece coach, you understand, and it is something that they've been able to work on. And for the past 3 years, no team in the English Premier League has been able to score more goals from set pieces compared to Arsenal. They have more set piece goals from corner kicks, from free kicks, from throw-ins compared to anybody in the EPL. So it just goes to tell you that they found a tactical niche in that regard, and they've got the players with the ability, with the aerial ability to get the goals. So if you have a strength, why don't you just build on that strength? That's exactly what Mikel Arteta and his backroom staff have been able to do. But you see, it boils down to the fact that they've got the players to understand. Because Josiah, I always say that when you have a tactical disposition that the players do not understand or appreciate, it's never going to work. If you have a tactical understanding that the players buy into and they are ready to immerse themselves into, it makes the job easier. And you get to the point. So if you have Gabriel, who is a towering defender, who always is going to be at the other end of the pitch, which is the attacking third, which is under normal circumstances not his duty. But when it comes to set pieces, he has to be there.
Yeah.
Then it simply means that he has bought into the idea of getting goals from set pieces. So it's just about, as a coach, getting your defenders or getting your players to understand the concept first and foremost, and be able to buy into the concept, appreciate the concept, and then interpret the concept. So these are the three key facets of any tactical disposition, and they've been able to interpret the concept to the core.
We're looking at the actions that happened in that game. Quite some drama, because first it was Rodri that got injured, and we're hearing per multiple reports that he could be out for 8 months at least, and that means that he's out of the season. He's not going to play any games this season. But how is that big of a blow to City, especially when you consider them, trying to win their 5th consecutive title? You think the absence of Rodri, they've done it without KDB, they've done it without Haaland before. We know them, they always find a way. But you think Rodri, who's has been so immense for this team, you think his absence is where you say, yeah, they are doomed?
City is not reliant on one player.
Yeah.
You see, for a couple of matches, you might feel the void, right? Maybe 2-3 matches, you might feel the void.
Okay.
But at the long run, Pep Guardiola has a nuance to tweak tactically and technically to prevent that absence from being felt. Remember, he has got Kovacic, he has got Nunez, right? And he's brought Gundogan back. So you just have to ask yourself that, to what extent is that going to affect them?
Yeah.
If it were to be another team, if it were to be another coach, I would say that yes, it's going to affect them, because Rodri is by far the best defensive midfielder for the past 2 years. He's been the best defensive midfielder.
And you think the options they have available now could match or even give up to 70 or 80% of what Rodri
They are not going to match what he's going to give you. You understand? They are not going to match what Rodri is going to give you. That is why you need a tactical twitch. That's why you need a tactical overhaul for you to be able to bring the other players up notch, right? Because at the end of the day, if you want Kovacic or Gundogan or Nunez to give you what Rodri gives you, you are never going to get that.
Okay.
But they have qualities that Rodri do not have. I get to the point. So it is up to Pep Guardiola to change the system, to change the formation, and then give the players the needed tactical understanding to tweak, right? To suit what is going to happen. But you see, it is not dependent on, the players. It is dependent on Pep Guardiola as a coach and his backroom staff to find a new approach because City has got a wealth of talent. City has got a bench that can go to another team and start. So the absence of Rodri, if that is going to be an excuse, then I don't think that City is well oiled enough to be fighting for the EPL and the Champions League because they've got so much depth that they can compete on different fronts. So the absence of Rodri, yes, is going to affect them, but that is not going to be the reason for them not to win the league.
You think they are still favorites to win the league?
Of course, they are. Of course, they are.
Wow. All right. So that's with it with the game that happened at the Etihad, where Manchester City were held to a 2-2 stalemate by their rivals in recent times, title challengers as well. That's the Gunners. It was an epic game at the Etihad, and after that game, it was Gabriel telling Manchester City that surely they'll welcome them at the Emirates. So